that door, don't let that Satan come in. He knocking on the front door, don't let him in. Don't know what he's been doing, don't know where he's been. Don't open that door, don't let that Satan come in. Gotta open that door, don't let that Satan come in. He might be wearing a disguise, you might not recognize him. He might have civilized, but that's his false skin. Don't open that door, don't let that Satan come in. Mama, don't open that door, don't let that Satan come in. He might be selling a washing machine, he gonna lead you to sin. Don't open that door, don't look at him. Don't open that door, don't let that Satan come in. Keep knocking on the aluminum door, don't let him in. Come right up on the porch and trailer, don't let him in. He's wearing a suit and tie, you felt the suffer on him. Don't open that door, don't let that Satan come in. Brother, don't open that door, don't let that Satan come in.
Apparently it's proper to call your queer child an abomination because you're expressing your religious opinion.
Who identify as gender nonconforming or trans or something else between the ages of 3 and 25.
I'm technically a trans boy, so why do I still like guys more than girls?
Cause you're gay, dumbass.
Anybody who thinks I wanted to be born in this fucking body, you're sadly mistaken. I've hated my body since I was fucking 15.
Yes.
Non-binary problems. Cis people be like, so what's in your pants? I'd be like, not you, bitch.
Cis people make me so fucking mad. Cis privilege isn't real. Then why do you get bathrooms and I don't?
Cis people be like,
but what's your real name? I gotta know that.
Cisheads be like,
oh, just come out to your parents. It'll just make you so much happier to be open about yourself.
I don't care who the fuck you think you be. You call me he if I want to be called a he. You don't call me a she no matter what you want.
Don't open your mind, don't think about him. He's got 2 beautiful women with him. Don't open that door, don't let that Satan come in. Sister, don't open that door, don't let that Satan come in. He might be tall and handsome with a devilish grin. Don't open your eyes, don't open your legs for him. Don't open that door, don't let that Satan come in. Brother ran out the back door with a bottle of gin. He stole Daddy's Cadillac, the devil jumped in. He's going to hell, we'll never see him again. Don't open that door, don't let that Satan come in. Don't open that door.
He's saying this is a sexual orientation, like being heterosexual, like being homosexual. It's not something that can be changed. Is that accurate?
He's saying it's an orientation fixed from birth, which some of the research is showing now. It's hard to measure because, you know, children don't have sex or look at pornography or all the things that we might use to measure sexual orientation. So we really don't know. But an orientation is different from a compulsion. Right. And one of the things we know about pedophiles is that they are often compulsive. By the way, pedophilia is when there's more than 5 years age difference between the perpetrator and the victim is prepubescent. So let's call him someone who has a sexual orientation towards children. We don't know if he's really a pedophile.
I'm going to bring him in. His name is Todd. This is the man who wrote the article. He says he is a pedophile. He is a moderator for a website, Virtuous Pedophiles, verped.org. And Todd, you were a young teenager when you first realized you were attracted to children. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
And what did you do to combat this? How are we? I mean, I think some people would be skeptical when you say I've controlled these urges.
Well, when I was 13, I repressed a lot of it. I kind of felt like it was it was something that I would get past eventually. So I didn't really dwell on it too much.
And Todd, you had sexual abuse in childhood. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And you became a drug addict also, right?
Yeah, but that had to do with when I was depressed and.
Well, but being unregulated, being traumatized, that's, you know, I would say 100% of my patients, well, for sure, if you had bad enough addiction that you needed to see me when I was running a program, you had physical or sexual or both abuse in childhood. That's just the way it goes. But so drug addiction is set up by this many times. My question then is, how do you know what you did when you were loaded?
Well, I never got that high. I took a few hydrocodone just to kind of deal with the pain. I was working out every day, you know, so I was in physical pain a lot from that because I was depressed. And, you know, when you're depressed, your brain doesn't deal with the, you know, doesn't produce the chemicals that alleviates pain.
Todd, I want to get some input from our audience here, if you don't mind. Yes, sir, go ahead.
I just have a question about what support exists for that. If we're saying that it is like alcoholism, is there programs, is there support to prevent people that have come out as saying, like, this is something I'm inclined towards?
That's part of the issue.
This is what he's doing.
That's the main thing.
Well, he's creating a community. He's creating a community so that if you have these feelings, as opposed to acting out on them, which is the horrible crime, that means that a child is being put in that position. Yeah. You go to this community and you try and work through it with other people.
But it's also dealing with the mental health issues that we don't deal with in this nation.
Is he going to the community for treatment, or is he going to the community to talk about having sex with children? It's like a drunk-a-log at an AA.
So, when I say the word paedophile, what's the first thing that pops into your head? I'm guessing it's someone who molests children. And I guess the stereotype for that pops into your head, the image would be some guy with glasses and a trench coat, maybe in a white van or at a playground. And that's a good example of what the media, and the mainstream media anyway, and society has done that is completely unfair, because a paedophile by definition is just someone who feels attraction towards children. The reason I wanted to make a video about this is because society as a whole treats paedophiles as social outcasts, well, because the way they view pedophilia is just someone who molests children, which isn't true, because I think that, you know, I'm pretty sure that about 95% of people who feel attraction towards children don't actually molest children. I mean, when you think about it, pedophiles have it so much worse than any gay person. I'm not saying that gays don't have it hard, by the way. I'm just saying that, I mean, they must have it so much harder than any gay person. And as far as I'm concerned, a pedophile who represses his feelings is a very, very good person. And pedophilia is well, not exactly the same. I mean, pedophilia is the same as homosexuality in the sense that you can't help it. It's not your fault. And I mean, society doesn't exactly treat gays that well either. But I mean, if you think about how hard it must be to be a pedophile, and hear absolutely no sympathy towards people like you. I mean, pedophiles, the ones who don't molest children, are really the victims here, and they are being completely unfairly bludgeoned by the mainstream media. Of course, I'm not saying that anyone who actually does molest children is not a bad human being. Catholic Church, you're not off the hook. Anyway, the moral of the story here is that the mainstream media has completely butchered the idea of pedophilia, and that we should all acknowledge pedophilia as a serious issue and a problem, and that any closet pedophiles should just seek help that society that we have right now at this moment doesn't give them.
Boy, he looks like an all-American boy for sure, and he's just like a flower in bloom. He's at that perfect stage in which he is hermaphroditic, that is to say, he is neither all male or all female. Not that anybody is, of course. Everybody is some mixture of those two characteristics, but he is at the moment in that wonderful limbo between being a child and being an adolescent. That is, he is certainly an adolescent at this point, but he still has this kind of soft, feminine grace about him. Mike was 12, I believe, and Anthony 13 when I was driving along the road in West Virginia, and Mike flagged me down to give them a ride. And the wonderful thing about it was that there was no fuss at all. They both went out of their way to flirt in their own way with me, just with joyfulness. I mean, just to say, here's the play of life going on, and here is something that's not seen by others, but seen and appreciated by me and the people who are participating. We're having a little play together, a little game.
I became sexually active when I was 8, but that was with younger boys. You know, the first boy that I went with was 7. At the time we were best friends. And that went on for 2 years. I didn't have any relationships with an adult until I was 10.
I love them.
What is in boys that you love?
I don't know. It's just I have all my life been attracted to younger boys. I can go back from the time I was about 8 years old. I could say I wanted a little brother, and I've always just been interested in little boys.
As far as what actually happened, I thought I was talking him into it, but later I discovered that he enjoyed it a lot more than I expected, because I had been convinced by people that kids that size aren't sexual. And myself, I really didn't have a lot of strong sexual feelings at 10. But this particular person enjoyed this quite a lot, it turned out.
How did it go? Well, I knew he was gay. He was one of my karate instructors, and you know, I just got came on to him, you know, and I knew what I was doing. You know, I was fully aware of what I was doing. You know, but I was very attracted to him at the time.
You felt you have the power in the relationship?
Mm-hmm.
You did.
Yeah, I felt very empowered by the relationship. I felt that I controlled the relationship. You know, which is a good thing for a kid, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that also, you know, tends to dispel the belief that, you know, that adults are always the ones in power in such relationships. I let him around. You know, I was the one in power.
What we do know is that nobody chooses their sexual orientation, that people discover what's appealing to them. They don't decide what's appealing to them. What we do know is that nobody chooses their sexual orientation, that people discover what's appealing to them. They don't decide what's appealing to them. What we do know is that nobody chooses their sexual orientation, that people discover what's appealing to them. They don't decide what's appealing to them. What they have more choice or decision about is how they deal with such desires, whether they pursue them or not, or try to inhibit them, or what their attitudes are towards them.
I hadn't done anything. I'd never done anything, but I'd always heard things on the news and everything saying that anybody who liked boys sexually would be a monster and would kill these kids or would do these horrible things, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to stop myself from doing that, and so I had a war with myself for about 6 years. I went to therapy in many different places around the country, and finally I started realizing that they weren't being genuine with me. They really duped me. I was very well indoctrinated into the system.
I knew it was kind of risky that the FBI could have my name on a list or something, but the way I was getting so sick of the way things were going, it was worth the risk.
The North American Man-Boy Love Association was formed in 1979 as a support group for men who are sexually attracted to boys. Over the years, its membership grew from 24 to 1,500 members. During the day, Bob is a government lawyer. In the evenings, he manages the NAMBLA's national office.
The standard line is it's a political and educational organization
Most of what we do is print a bulletin. Bill handles is the editor of the bulletin. This is for the person who handles the prisoner mailing. That is, we send out free subscriptions to those prisoners who are able to receive them, which is probably about half the people that want them. Most of the prisons in the West, for instance, won't take our bulletin, but they won't take any gay publication.
Leland has graduate degrees in law and philosophy. He has been a Mormon representative in Texas and a missionary in Hong Kong. In India, he photographed child pornography and was put in a California prison for 5 years.
In general, there are lots of boys that precisely want to do that. That is what they want to do. They make it clear, and they simply do it. They don't. That is to give a blowjob. That's what to give head, as the saying goes. That's what they want to do, and they do it. That is, this boy simply did it in a magnificently gentle, tender sort of way, in which you could sense he was putting his whole heart and life into this experience. That is what was so exceptional about it, and it produced a remarkable sensation, and I may say a rather speedy climax, in spite of the fact that it was being done in such a gentle way.
What is the fantasy? What thoughts come into your mind in such a time?
Curiously, the most powerful feelings that are evoked are religious feelings. I want to sing praises to the Almighty for having created anything so beautiful, so spectacularly wonderful. This is what is going on in me. Mike, on one occasion, and Anthony on another, flirted with me, I thought, in a very flagrant but wonderful way. By flagrant, I mean they made it completely obvious that they were flirting in a sexual way or talking in a sexual way, because this was their nature, because they were having a good time, because they understood that someone appreciated this aspect of their life. Well, there's, I don't see too much. Looks bakery-esque in there for sure. Over here, is somebody gonna call you out?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Get up.
So what happened?
What? You made the phone ring.
Oh, you made the phone ring. Oh, well, let's see how you did that.
Oh, jeez. You're just text record. No, you can get in trouble for doing that.
No.
Do this again. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, not bad.
You answer it.
Hey, how can I get the secret?
Dial 660 and the last 4 numbers of any y'all. Cool.
660, and what's the rest of it?
The last 4 digits of that phone number.
Of that phone. 660 plus the last 4 digits of that phone, and that'll do it.
Yep. Yeah, but you
Very
can't do
good.
it to anybody else.
Oh, goodness, okay.
You can't do it to the phone.
That'll be our secret then.
No, that's on video.
He was so eager to tell me when his birthday was, and he was going to be 15 in less than a month on the 1st of December, and this is what life is about. This is what real life is about. I would say that he was in bloom, and that's it. The flower is responding to warmth. That is, I as a human being am bathing him in a certain kind of celestial warmth. And he feels that, and he responds to that, and he thinks, oh, how nice, how wonderful that there's someone there who is appreciating what I am and who I am.
So you think this is progress? Actually, we are regressing. The ancient Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, they all practiced these bizarre sexual, crazy, perverted, whatever you want to call it, and look where it landed them. All those civilizations have fell. we are turning back to ancient Rome, ancient Greek, the Egyptians. We're turning back into where our society's going backwards. We're not progressing by giving people special rights because of how they like to have sex or who they like to have sex with. That's not progressing. It's regressing. And for people to sit there and think that they're going to, we're going to let special bathroom rights for trans people and let gay people get married and we're not going to infringe on their rights, you're missing the bigger picture. Because at the end of this road, your children are next. You don't have to believe me, because it will happen. This is the trend. This is the path that we are taking. This is the slope we're sliding down. And you'll see where animals, that's not too far off. It seems that something like this would never happen, but the door has been opened. In this interest to treat everyone equal, you've opened up a door that is not going to be closed easily.